This is a city document that was created that shows just how large the track actually was. Here's where City Hall is today, the school board office. The Library Cultural Center is here, and the City of Richmond Archives is located right about here. We figure we are where the grandstand was and about where the finish line was for the track. Hi, my name is Devel Buie. I am the City Archivist with the City of Richmond. Welcome to the City of Richmond Archives.
When did Richmond kind of start building its reputation as not just a place, but almost the place for horse racing?
The first racetrack in Richmond was the Minoru Park racetrack. It opened on August 21st, 1909. There were 7,000 people who attended the opening race day. It was a very exciting event in Richmond's history. And just to give you a sense of the population of Richmond of the time was just over 3,100 people. So it was quite a large event and celebration. The track itself was a mile-long oval and was very kind to the horses. It had a real natural bounce with the land that we are on, and so it was definitely a destination that was in place for many, many years.
And it wasn't just the only track. At another point in time, the Lansdowne Park racetrack.
Minoru Park racetrack, it closed with the World War I was when it closed, and then it reopened as Brighouse racetrack. So again at the same site. And then you're right, yes, there was the Lansdowne Park racetrack. It opened 4 years later in 1924. It was a real community effort to open that particular racetrack. The community came together and built another mile oval track.
It's hard to imagine that a fixture like Lansdowne Mall that's been there for so long used to be completely different, with a completely different purpose. Was the loss of that kind of a big blow to the community?
Hard to say. I mean, it was definitely a big loss for the horse racing community. The track at Minoru, later Brighouse, and the track in Lansdowne, I think in the horse racing community was seen as a better track than the one at Exhibition or Hastings Park. So I think the view was that it was a better environment for the horses, and the facilities were quite extensive. You could have over 4,500 spectators at the Lansdowne track and 1,000 people in the clubhouse. Horse racing was very extensive at the Lansdowne site from 1924 until 1960 when the last race happened. And then it continued on until 1973 actually as a training site. So there was still the community, the horse racing community was still involved at the site.
My name's Sharon Gill. Grew up in Richmond. My dad, P.S. Gill, also known as Cousin Gill, he fell in love with horses. There was a East Indian man, a bachelor, that had horses at the Brighouse racetrack, and Taka Singh knew that he was dying and wanted to find someone to take care of his horses. He had no family here, only family in India. My dad by that time had been visiting the track and met him, and Dad took over the two horses, and that was the beginning of his life with horses. Our life centered around the horses. We first of all had a home on Alexandra Road, which was the back stretch of the Lansdowne racetrack. And I can remember the horses being walked to the track because they could just go through the backyard and over to the fence. We had some Cuban jockeys that used to stay with us. Mom and Dad had horses from, it was around 1946 until my dad died in 1994. So horsing was our life. That's me. But then you can see that, there's my mom's whole family. You can see us all growing up. And if you flip through the pictures, you'll see that was Taka Singh. That's the man who got my dad into racing by saying, take my horses. And Crafty Run was the winner.
The horse in
this one, yeah, that's the winner. And then if we found the last picture, that was my dad's last winner, and that horse is my Crafty Run. Mm-hmm. So it's like full circle.
Richmond, for sure, its roots as a farming and fishing community. How would you say the community as a whole came together around this one common thing, which was horse racing?
That was the business everybody was in. If you weren't an owner or a trainer or a breeder, you were probably working at the racetrack, either in the mutuals or on the grounds. Most kids, most boys, I'll take that back, most boys, their first jobs in Richmond were probably hot walking, walking the horses either in the morning or after a race, making stalls. That was a big employer. It was a business that kept Richmond going. That was the Richmond.
And when we say mutuals as it relates to the track, what does that mean?
Oh, that's the betting.
Okay.
That's the betting, okay?
Right, okay.
So you would, there'd be this whole line of machines that people would stand behind, and you would go and place your bet. And if you were lucky, you got a winner. And if you weren't so lucky, you tried again. And as a kid, you always used to go around and collect tickets, because sometimes people would throw a ticket away and not know that it was a winner. So you would find a lucky ticket, and you'd think you were just wealthy because you got, like $4 or something. But it was just, the mutuals were how they made money.